So all of Idlewild money goes
I
out
see.
of Idlewild. So I said, to me, in my opinion, what Idlewild needs is accommodations for its
Yes.
visitors, for its tourists.
Yes.
And it's funny because I have these big dreams,
Mm-hmm.
and my dream was, okay, I'm going to do this hotel. I'm going to build this hotel in Idlewild because that's what it
That's where
needs.
it starts, though. But go ahead.
You know,
Uh-huh.
and so I said, okay, I'm going to get some land. I'm going to build a hotel. And then I got the land. I said, wait a minute, I can't do that. That's bigger than me. That's way bigger than me.
Okay.
So I said, I'll start at the bottom.
Okay.
I'll start at the bottom level. And I want on my land, I want outdoor accommodation.
Beautiful.
So I said, start at the bottom where people have a choice when they come to Idlewild.
Mm-hmm.
They can park their RV.
Yes.
They can attend all of the wonderful activities, events going on in Idlewild by parking an RV, pitching a tent, sleeping overnight in their
Yes.
van, or they have a place to park, right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe some rental cabins on my property.
Oh, you got
And
some things already.
and then I said, maybe later on, if I find those big pocket investors,
Uh-huh.
maybe I
Yes.
could get somebody who wants to invest in building a hotel. So my mind was just going with all of these ideas about how to get tourists to come to Idlewild and how to keep the money
Yes.
here in Idlewild, how to keep those black dollars
Yes.
rolling
Yes.
in
Yes.
Idlewild and not going outside of Idlewild. But right now, as it is, we still send our tourists and our visitors out of Idlewild to eat. They're out of Idlewild, so all the
Mm-hmm.
money that should be staying in this community right now goes out. So I said, okay, I'm doing the accommodations, and I'm going to start with the RV park and campgrounds
Mm-hmm.
and work my way up from there. So phase one was supposed to be the RV park, and then phase two is like the rental cabins, and
Mm-hmm.
then keep making my acreage bigger and bigger and better and better.
And so it's
Big
just
dreams, big
it's just
dreams.
you right now doing this. You're doing this on it. You don't have no partner right now or
I
anything.
have no
That's
partner.
amazing.
It's
The
just me.
motivation, the motivation. So you do have you got property. You got about 40 acres, 38 to
Yes.
40 acres. Okay,
Yes.
and you're in the process of trying to maybe fight somebody or getting something on that, or what's going on with that as far as at your phase one.
Well, when I first got the property, I went to the township and went introduced myself to the township supervisor
Okay.
and the zoning administrator back
Yes.
then, and I said, I'm Miss Haugabook, and I just bought the acreage down the road on Nelson Road,
Uh
and
huh.
this is what I want to do. I want to do an RV park and campgrounds down the road. And the township supervisor, Marilyn Burns, and the then zoning administrator, his name escapes me at the moment,
Okay.
but they were both like, great.
Okay.
Idlewild needs an RV park and campgrounds. It'll get rid of all the illegal campers in Idlewild. Great.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
We'll
Yes.
back you up 100%. I'm like, oh, thank you, God.
Okay.
And so I said, okay, I'm a novice at this. What forms do I need to fill out? What do I need to do? I want to do everything right. What do
Right.
I
By the
need to
book. That's
do?
right.
Right? I want to do it by the book.
Okay.
So they said, the supervisor said, well, Miss Haugabook, we've never had an RV park in Idlewild before. We don't have any forms for you to fill out or anything like that. But what you need to do is start with the state of Michigan. Go to the state of Michigan, get your license as an RV park and campgrounds owner, then return to the township for approval. So I'm like, okay, fine. So I go to the state of Michigan and they said, nope, that's backwards. They said, you need to get zoning approval first from the township. They need to say it's okay for you to do what you want to do.
Yes.
When you get okay from the zoning to say it's okay for you to do what you
Then
want to
you
do,
come back.
then you go back to the state of Michigan and get my license as an RV park and campgrounds owner. So I came back to Yates Township and I've been stuck ever since that
Really?
time
It's like you're
on
getting a
zoning.
runaround.
Yeah, I very much got the runaround, and then the zoning administrator left. There's a new zoning administrator now. A lot of internal changes was going on within the township at that time, and I kind of twiddled my fingers over the winter and says, okay, well, while I'm waiting for the township to go through its changes, and the planning commission wasn't meeting for like 8 months, and just like a lot of runaround with all
Yes.
of this. So I said, well, I'll just start building my business online. So I
Yes.
opened up a website, started planning events and everything, and building a customer base for myself, and said, I know I'm going to get approved by the summer, and I'll get everything approved by the summer. Well, when spring rolled around, they hired a new zoning administrator, and my campgrounds proposal was denied. So
Was that a board that has to vote that, or just he has to get that word?
he has to say that the zoning is approved, and then they take it to the township to approve it. The board
Okay.
has to approve it. But basically, my campgrounds is in an agricultural district. It's zoned as agricultural.
Okay.
And the township, based on the ordinances, the current ordinances from the 70s, it says that you can't camp, or at least the township interpretation is you can't camp on agricultural
Wow.
land.
Okay.
However, my argument to that was, well, I'm on Nelson Road. That road is historically a camping area. I'm right off of Camp Road,
That's
actually.
where the property is.
Right,
Okay.
off of Camp Road, Nelson and Camp Road.
Okay.
And there was 100 acres over there, which was a campgrounds run by the Church of the Good Shepherd out of Chicago. And they still own the grounds over there, and they ran a campgrounds over there. They closed down, from my understanding, sometime in the 70s, maybe early 80s, right when Idlewild was on its decline, and it
Yes.
closed up. But they ran a campgrounds over in that area for like over 7 decades, according to the Church of the Good Shepherd.
Yes.
And they actually have a road named Camp Road.
But yeah, you're having so much trouble getting something
camp.
started.
And directly adjacent to my property is the Civilian Conservation Corps, where if I've got the story right, they call them CCC camps.
Okay.
And back during Roosevelt's term as president, he had young men who went around the country planting pine trees all around the country. And you see a lot of where pine trees are like consecutively planted.
Yes.
That was done by the CCC camps. And so adjacent to my property, you see those beautifully lined trees, which was done by the Civilian Conservation Corps, and they used that as a campground area too, where they were planting all over northern Michigan, Idlewild, and the surrounding areas. They camped in that area as well.
So you're still in the process. You're still, like I said, you're stuck, but you still didn't let that. You're not going to let that discourage you. You're still actually working on it.
I am still actually working on it.
Okay.
Idlewild has nothing. It
Okay.
needs everything.
Yes.
So we see a lot of beautiful events going on
Yes,
right now.
yes.
We have very few businesses that actually are brick and mortar businesses.
Okay.
We have events that are growing and getting bigger and bigger every year, but we don't have a lot of places for those events to be as they grow.
Okay.
So I'm pretty much sitting on 40 acres of land, and I'm beautifying my land.
Yes.
And I'm going to be ready. And when God
Whenever.
says it's
Yes.
time, it's
Yes.
going to be my time.
Okay, Miss Deborah. We're here right now at what is this park called? What is this place called again?
This is Idlewild Lake Access Park.
Ottawa Lake Access Park. This is actually my first time being here, and let me tell you, this is a nice place. And you said it's been built, you think about 20 years or less?
Yes. That's for sure.
So if you want to find it, I'm going to tell you, because a lot of people probably don't know about this. You don't mind if I tell people about it?
I don't care.
Because it doesn't look like many people know about this, and it's beautiful out here, and you just go around I can't explain it other than you just, instead of going around the beach way, you keep going around the lake in the opposite way. And I think it's the south maybe part. You think it's the south or the east or north? But look it up. It's probably on Google. You could probably Google it. But it's real nice out here, and I'm glad that I'm doing this interview because I learn something new every day. Sister Deborah, so here we are. You're still motivated to do what you feel God's put in your heart to do.
Yes.
You are a single woman, motivated woman, evidently, and really, and you're trying to get some more stuff in Ottawa, Michigan going, because they don't have a lot of stuff out here.
We don't.
And what I hear before, and I don't know if you remember it, they said they had a gas station out here. They said they had stores out here, restaurants out here.
Yes.
Everything that they needed was here in Ottawa.
Correct.
And majority of them, would you agree with this, was black owned?
Yes. Most
Okay.
definitely.
And do you remember at that time seeing many black people in Ottawa? I mean, many white people in Ottawa?
I looked at Ottawa growing up as being predominantly black. I
Okay.
did see a few whites here and
Okay.
there. I always looked at Ottawa as growing up, being predominantly black, and
Okay.
then when we went to Baldwin, it was just the opposite, predominantly white.
And
So,
even now, do you see like, and I've noticed this, that from the talk, from the interviews, most black people want to keep it mostly black because this is historic, the Ottawa. And I was somewhere the other day taking a class, and I was talking to a white man, and he was saying, and I'm going to say it like that because of the fact that I'm just deferring the races and the culture. And I was talking to a white man, and he was saying the history he heard about Ottawa, Michigan, and this man is about 30 miles away. And he says he wanted to come up here just so he can see what all the talk was, because he's about 70. And so he heard about it back in the day. Now, the question is that most black people want to keep this black, and they're not selling property to white folks or white people all around, because it's like that. Unfortunately, this world is still separate in a lot of places. And you've seen an influx of black people maybe moving out and white people moving in. Would you agree with that? Or right now, I'm talking about now, that it's more, it seemed like a lot of history has gone away, or what would you say about that?
like most of the country, I see black areas. I see gentrification. That's the word that I'm looking for.
Very good. Okay.
Like most, that's what's going on in most of the country right now. You see black neighborhoods switching over to becoming white neighborhoods.
Okay. And vice versa?
Not vice versa.
Okay. All right. And that's, and you just give me what you see.
That's what I see.
Okay.
So when I was growing up, the Williams Island was, like I said, back then it wasn't called Williams Island. We just called it the island.
The island.
The beach. And when I was growing up, that was all black. And now you see that in reverse. You see a lot of non-blacks
Yes.
on the beach.
Correct. Okay.
Yeah, so-
And as you said before, and I think this is what you're saying, I'm going to add to it at least. I know in the place where I am, 30 or 40 miles from here, there's a sect it's a higher up. They got mansions and fancy houses over there. And somebody was telling me, they said, well, you as a black person couldn't get a house over there if you had the money, because it's got a rule over there saying that right now it's mostly white people there, and if they leave or get rid of their house, they got to pass it down to their children. So if they pass it down to their children and they can't sell outside of it, then that's telling me that it won't be any blacks in there if it stays to that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I think it's like that in a lot of places, but here it's like you said, it used to be mostly black or predominantly all black, but you do see influx of different non-blacks and other people other than blacks coming here, correct?
Right.